Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Ships at sea.
The moment.
Did somebody used to say that? Ships at sea or something like that?
Walter Winchell.
Well, Walter
Ladies
Winchell.
and
That's right.
gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. He was a muckraker, first class. Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, the Bill Crane Report's on the air with my friend Dwayne Weiss, and we're here to give you some more great information.
Put your helmet on, fasten your seatbelts.
That's right. Well, there's some bizarre stuff in the mail, in the news here, and boy, I don't know where to start. But I'm going to start
Just
with
jump in.
Boston Latin High School. They've had a man recording boys in the boys' room
That's,
for a year or more. From February to December of 2017. The video shows boys using stalls and urinals and all sorts of other things in various states of undress. So, Boston Latin really hasn't addressed this issue.
no, they haven't.
But our fearless mayor of Boston, Marty Walsh, says safety is a priority at Boston Latin.
Where was he all year long?
Yeah, no update on security measures after man allegedly filmed boys in bathrooms. Nothing is happening.
Yeah.
Boston Latin, Boston English are the two, and there's one other, third,
Supposedly with the top school.
high schools in the land.
The kids going in there can't say, hey, who's this dude over here that's...
Yeah.
What was he, 20-some years old?
Yeah. And he was hiding cameras in there, and give me a break. But where is the outrage here? I mean, what has Boston Latin had to say about it? Well, the school held a meeting for parents Tuesday night, which the media was not allowed to attend.
Of course not.
Parents at the meeting felt like security was kind of the paramount issue. But officials, they talked about various things and discussed certain measures, including installing cameras.
More cameras?
Sweeping for evidence of cameras left behind, and some parents even offered to help beef up security themselves, suggesting a volunteer pool of parents who would take turns sitting by the doors each week to check who was coming in and out. But the top guy at Boston Latin, Latifa Ziad, co-chairman of the school's parent council, said, "It was alarming to me that we were even having this discussion. Mm-hmm. Myself and the other parents were kind of in shock about what happened." When asked about what additional safety measures Boston Public Schools would be taking as a result of parents' feedback, spokesman Daniel O'Brien repeated the same list of precautions the district circulated Monday. Yeah, increased police presence, additional cameras, increasing adult presence at arrival and dismissal, and reminding students and staff to keep exterior doors locked so that required visitors visitors to check in. So it's just a reiteration of the rules they had in place.
Totally.
Yeah,
You know what
they're not going to do anything
was
about
missing
this.
though? Tell the kids to be aware of your surroundings.
That's right.
You see some pervert in
Bozo.
a bathroom with diddling around and he's not supposed to be there. You know he's not a student.
Yeah, 27 years old.
He's not a student, and see him time after time, and what the hell's this guy doing here? Tell somebody something.
Yeah.
It's not Smith College, by the way, where you say something, you get in trouble.
Yeah, right. 36-year-old Eric Tran Thai is the gentleman involved. And I had read that he also, there was a question about his immigration status. And they don't want to address that.
Yeah, it's Marty's sanctuary city there.
Man, I'm telling you. You know, you can't make stuff like this up. Jeepers creepers.
I got one for you guys.
Go ahead, let's have it.
Use of words. And they're so important today.
Yep.
And we have so many snowflakes and so many people that get offended and upset, and some just have terrible, terrible conniptions over it. Well, yesterday was Food Day. That's on the Globe.
Oh, I know. Yep.
The headlines on that article said there's nothing cute about crack pie.
Yeah.
This bakery has a pie they call crack pie. Why, my God, we've got to stop using that word crack, because all the people that get addicted to crack, and there's no sensitivity. He was so upset, this writer. I don't know if it was a man or woman, doesn't matter. Delva, I guess that's probably a woman.
Well, that all depends on how she identifies
That's
her
right.
gender.
That's right. We don't know how she identifies.
And we have no right to ask.
That was cruel of me to assume.
No cruelty allowed on
no.
this program.
Now, I agree. We got to get rid of that word crack. Folks, if you ever in your life had a crackerjack, don't do that, because it's crackerjack.
And don't allow the Red Sox announcer to say, at the crack of the bat.
That's right.
Yeah.
Saltines? No.
Crackers.
They're crackers.
Oh, boy.
Crackers.
We're going to get that language right out of it.
Wednesday afternoon, I went in the pantry to get some cereal out of it. There's a big bag of cracked walnut meats.
Oh, no.
I said to my wife, we've got to throw these out. They say crack on them.
If there's a hole in your foundation, in your cellar, and you call a repairman, and he says, well, describe it, and it's a crack, what do you say?
Oh, you don't dare use that word.
Oh, God. You'll have to come over. Yeah, but I'll pay you the $85 for the home visit. Come over and look at it. I can't describe it.
It's an opening. You gotta say.
An opening, yeah.
An opening, yeah.
Is it a door?
Interruption of the continuity of the wall.
A whole new language.
There you go. Well, it's getting ridiculous.
It sure is. It sure is. And I'm going to tell you something that's even more ridiculous. So we have a picture here of a little family.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Look at the look. Look at those kids, those little angels.
Angelic looking little family.
Beautiful little kids, a beautiful lady, and she's pregnant. What a lovely family. God love them. And yet, the husband explained to her one night in bed, they were talking, and he said, I have a lover, another affair I'm having, and I'm ridding myself of you.
Yep.
Now, the woman said, all right, fine, you'll never see the kids again. With that, he killed her.
He killed her. Yep.
Wrapped her up in a rug, and the kids said, what are you doing to Mommy, Daddy? Wrapped her up, took her out to his truck, took the kids up. The kids had woken up because of the noise. Took the kids with him out to where he works. I want to say it's around 40 miles from his house. Mm-hmm. The oil fields.
The oil fields, yep.
Smothered the kids with the blankets and put them in an oil-filled container.
Yep. A big oil tank.
Yep. And her too.
Yep. What?
A woman with child, a beautiful lady, 2 beautiful, beautiful children. My friends, why he is in prison and is beyond me. He's sentenced to life imprisonment. If ever a case called out for capital punishment.
What state was that?
This is in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
If ever a case called out for capital punishment, this is it. And I'm having Jen insert this photo in the show so you can see these kids.
I think it would have been in Texas that the verdict would have been a little different.
Well, I hope so. And perhaps justice would have been a little quicker.
Yep.
But unfortunately, we have to wait 18 years for all the
that's the
appeals and
trouble.
all that stuff. But if there is the devil incarnate walking amongst us, it's Christopher Watts. He's not walking among us.
Absolutely.
But here's the problem, Dwayne. Life imprisonment? If it were life imprisonment. Okay? But we're going to talk about another hideous murder. And this guy wants out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I know what you
It
want.
wants to be pardoned or paroled or whatever. See, life imprisonment doesn't mean life imprisonment.
Life doesn't mean life.
No.
That's,
All you need is to get a liberal, far left liberal governor who begins pardoning people.
yep.
And this is, it absolutely subverts everything that we've done. We've convicted this man of a horrible crime. And a governor 10 or 12 years from now may say, you know, he's turned his life around. He has a degree now from the University of Colorado. He's been working, helping teach convicts how to read and write. And, you know, he'd make a wonderful school teacher. Let's parole him. Yeah, that worked out well.
Yep. Things change, you know, and
They
you
do.
can't even not just even a governor, but judges today are changing society by their decisions. I look at it like it's Iran. When you get the head of the religious head, the
Ayatollah.
Ayatollah, he controls everything. He decides what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. Today we got judges out there making decisions that change all of society. There's just one, it was in the Wall Street Journal today about a judge out west that has decided that he's not going to allow any drilling in hundreds of thousands of acres in government land that's managed by the Bureau of Land Management, because he doesn't like fossil fuels. And
Gotta love it.
And he's using it under the excuse, well, they didn't say what the dangers of the fossil fuels were when they got the lease. So we're going to void that. Well, he's changed everybody's life for God knows where, just by his own likes or dislike, his particulars. Yeah.
Had nothing to do with law.
No.
No. He doesn't like it.
And so he'll interpret that to mean.
Hopefully that will be overruled.
Yeah.
But it may take a couple of years.
Oh, it would be more than that.
Yeah. And is that the Ninth Circuit?
I don't know.
Because they are the worst offenders of this sort of thing. But supposedly an appeal will go up on that, I'm sure, and he'll be struck down. I mean, but then they'll appeal that, and oh God, I'm telling you. I've got to save this for Jen. this is interesting. The Democrats are sort of, running amok here. They have discovered that they cannot meet greenhouse gas emission levels. And by shutting down a nuclear power plant, they have gone back almost to ground zero again. This was totally free of greenhouse gas emissions. And now they're saying, well, you know what? We've got to hold our nose now and build nuclear power plants. That was the answer all along. Interestingly enough, now they're overlooking some of their arguments.
Yeah.
But one of them, there has not been one death in the United States in a nuclear power plant.
That's right.
Nuclear reactors have been in nuclear submarines and aircraft carriers for decades without a single accident. We don't like it.
That's right. I saw statistics of nuclear power plants and conventional power plants. Conventional power plants have accidents, death rates of like 20 or 30 a year across the country. Nuclear had zero.
Power plants, yeah.
Yeah. And it was all due to whatever the turbines and the boilers and everything else that they use.
You know what? And not only that, but there are some of the power plants I've been into of catwalks and stuff like that,
kind of thing,
where they're going, bango.
Yeah, I believe it was time, and believe it or not, they kind of came to the conclusion that we cannot meet renewable resources using wind and solar and water. We just can't do it. It's
it's impossible.
It's impossible. Would take, I don't know how many thousands of square miles of solar thing of every state would have to be actually covered with them.
And what happens when the sun goes low on the horizon?
Oh, absolutely. It
in
stops
the winter?
producing.
Yeah. And what happens when the wind stops blowing?
That's right.
I mean, I've read studies where if we went ahead with all the plans they want, we might be able to meet 12%
Yeah, about 10 or 12% of the energy
need that we need. So, look, let's sober up here. Now, a good thing, and hopefully it won't be a bad thing for Maine, but they're going to bring hydroelectric power down from Quebec. I think the last hurdle has been taken care of up in Maine, and they're going to run it right across the state of Maine, the western part, and then make a right turn and down into Massachusetts. This is going to be a wonderful thing for the state of Massachusetts. Totally pollution-free
Oh, yeah.
power.
Yep.
In almost unbelievable quantities. Of all the areas of dams that get built, they're not generating power out of a lot of them.
No, they're not.
This is a fantastic opportunity, and yet people, I don't want them big icky wires, they're dangerous, and yay.
We have a lot of NIMBYs here.
Yeah, we do.
Not in my backyard.
Yep.
And it's incredible. And some of the NIMBYs, the more money they got or the more power they got, the bigger NIMBY they are.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I mean,
You remember the well, you do, everybody out there. There are the turbines on Cape Wind was the name of it. Well, Ted Kennedy was so against that. He and his cohorts, his moneyed friends living on Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket, fought that tooth and nail. They threw everything they could in the path of that. And finally, they had to give up because they just couldn't afford it anymore.
You know what was a telling quotation? And he did it. It was on TV. It was recorded, but it didn't really see print was in desperation in an argument one night with, I don't know whether it was a constituent, I don't know how it all came to be. You know what Ted Kennedy said about the wind farm? That's where I sail.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And one of somebody else commented that if this project was proposed off the coast of New Jersey, Ted Kennedy would have been in 100%. Oh, we have to do this kind of thing.
Gotta do it.
Gotta do it.
It was like the back in the 70s and the 60s. Remember that we were talking about having to put refineries up here in New England?
Oh my God, yeah, that was.
Yeah, that went over.
Whoa.
I mean, these people are living in a different land,
Yeah.
you know? It's unbelievable. But now the Democrats are actually coming out and saying, well, I guess we got to do something about nuclear power. Now, there'll be blowback from that within the Democratic Party. Boy, I'll tell you. But, well, this is an ugly subject. A girl, 11 years old, in Orlando, Florida, was stabbed to death 15 times by her mother.
By her mother.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard this one, folks, hang on. This is bizarre.
She told investigators she killed her daughter to prevent her from having sex with men. She's charged with first-degree murder. Unbelievable.
Just when you think you cannot find anything more bizarre or more disgusting or more tragic, you open up the paper, there it is.
You know, you'd like to think that somehow or other we could develop a bar that parents would have to pass over. They'd have to meet minimum requirements to have children.
That's the problem. It's one of the
That's
most
it.
important jobs in the world,
Yeah.
and there's no criteria. There's no standards.
None whatsoever. And you know what? I have something in here that is going to really dovetail with this and see if I can find it, but I probably. It basically speaks to the fact that in the last 50 years, the performance of schools has not increased at all. The difference, no gains for poor in school.
Oh yeah.
What they've found is the differential between poor kids and rich kids in school is exactly the same in the past 50 years.
Yeah.
All the bloody money that we have poured into school systems hasn't done a bloody
It
thing.
doesn't. It just.
But you know why, Dwayne? I think one of the reasons, breakdown of the traditional family unit,
Yep.
where mother and father were involved in the child's education.
That's the key right there.
I think so.
If the parents aren't involved in education, I don't care how good of teachers you got, you're not going to get through those kids.
Nope. And kids have many more distractions now. Computers, social media, computer games.
That ever-present phone.
The smartphone.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what amazes me, and I've probably said this before, but the amount of women I see in grocery stores shopping
Yep.
with the ear right up here, the phone right up to the ear,
Yep.
and, well, yeah, you know, Ralph and I are going to go away this weekend, and blah, blah. Nothing to do with, you know, if they called and said, honey, I'm at the market, are we out of mayonnaise?
Yeah.
That's one thing.
That's the only one I use
But
mine for.
They gossip.
Yeah.
Walking around one-handed trying to push the phones. Also, we've had, because two parents work, kids are raising themselves.
Yeah.
And also, young people have poor role models. Grandparents are no longer an important part of the family unit.
That's right.
It used to be grandparents lived beside you,
Yeah.
or in the same house, and were an important tool in helping raise children.
But the social media and the disconnect that kids get today, they live in their own little world.
Absolutely.
This is just, what's today? Today's Thursday.
It is.
Yeah, Tuesday we stopped for a bite. We were out. We stopped for a bite to eat. And it was down here at the 99. And the table across the thing was a mother, a father, and 3 girls. They were 7, 9.
I know where this is
14.
going because I've seen it.
They didn't say a word. The girls, each one had their phone. Mama had her phone. And Poppy just sort of stared off into the space. You know?
Pretended he was a mushroom.
Yeah, and the other 4, they were whatever they were, pushing things and watching things, and nobody said a word the whole dinner.
It never ceases to amaze me. And also, one other thing too is the fact that because 2 parents are working, and we have soccer Sunday mornings and basketball Sunday mornings. We don't have church Sunday mornings anymore. And the role that religion should play in a child's upbringing
It doesn't anymore.
doesn't anymore. And we are much the poorer for it. So I'm sure with this study, the answer will be we've got to provide them with more money. The schools.
Money. When money is equated to education. They just keep on piling it in. It'll change. It doesn't. It doesn't work.
No.
No.
But take a look at parochial schools
Yep.
and take a look at private schools. Guess what, folks? They're better than the public schools.
Charter schools
But,
are public, but still they're charter schools, and
Absolutely.
they outperform some of the public, just straight public
they
schools,
do
10 to 1.
because you have to pay to go to some of them, and when you have to pay to go to them, and they go to the parents and say, "Little Dwayne is acting up."
That's right.
And one more time, and he's out, and
Yeah.
you're not getting your money back.
That's right.
When little Dwayne gets his butt kicked when he gets home, and moves in and gets himself squared away.
Yeah.
There is a thing in there that motivates children, and it's the parents getting involved. Now, in concert with this story, this is something I have thought all along, and I've never verbalized it with anybody. Listening to music can impair creativity. Now, we never allowed, even later on, towards the end of my career, the firms I worked for never allowed kids to walk around with
the
headphones
headsets,
on, listening to music while they picked parts off a shelf, because it's got to be a distraction.
Yeah.
Gotta be. And this is the stupidest article I think I've ever read. Scientists asked subjects to complete a task while either listening to nothing or listening to background music with foreign lyrics, instrumental music without lyrics, or music with familiar lyrics. After analyzing the results, the team found those who listened to music while doing a task were less creative compared to those who were in quiet conditions. The music listeners' creative performance was significantly impaired. Can you believe that it took scientists tests to realize that when you're plugged in to rap music, your thought process is split between counting pieces in a box for a customer for a shipment and listening to what's going on.
Whether you think there are or not, they are.
Absolutely.
People cannot adequately what they called multitasking.
Yes, sir.
Everybody thinks, or a lot of people think, well, I can multitask. I can do this. You can't.
I can't.
You're fooling yourself.
Yeah.
You can do it to a certain extent, but you don't do A as well as B as well if you did by splitting your attention up between the two of them. You're just kidding yourself.
You can't do it. Now, back as a younger person, I was able to say, okay, I'm going to do this, and this in that order, and I'm going to take care of all my little projects for the day. Well, I can't do that anymore. I can't.
No.
I got to write them all down.
Yeah.
And then I go back to the pad of paper and check them off when I do them.
Yeah.
Because there's so many distractions in life, and this is one of them, music.
Yeah, in college, I could not study with background noise.
Good.
Some people think
That's
they
great.
got the radio going, they got all this distractions. I couldn't. I had to, if I was in the house and then I had to go into another room, shut the door, leave it alone. And then if I did it on campus, I went up in the stacks in the library where it was quiet.
Do you know how much time I spend cutting these articles out, put them in order, and think about what I want to talk about? Well, I do it with the TV off and without music.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do that. How can you? I don't know. I can't do it. Maybe there are geniuses that can multitask. But boy, oh boy, I'm sure as heck not one of them.
That's been disproved several times already.
Yep. By the way, the state of Utah is moving into the 21st century.
I saw that.
They are making a law that sex outside of marriage, which is a misdemeanor crime in Utah, is going to be repealed.
Yep.
So people are going to be able to fool around in Utah.
That's right. And they're not going to get arrested for it and thrown in jail.
That's right. However, there are rock-ribbed old folks out there that say, nope, don't agree with that. Laws have a role in setting moral standards. So I guess, but him notwithstanding, the repeal passed 41-32 in the House after passing in the state Senate.
I saw it in the paper.
Yeah.
I said to my wife, well, Massachusetts would have had that law. We'd have had damn few free people walking around. They'd all been in jail.
New Jersey, Saddle River, New Jersey. The Saddle River Council is amending a one-sentence noise rule by placing time restrictions that would prohibit dogs from barking, howling, or yelping for more than 20 minutes between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m., or for more than 15 minutes between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Violators would face a fine of up to $1,000 or up to 90 days of community service. How in the name of all, how can you possibly sit down with your dog and say, now look, Grover,
Yeah,
it's
you can
after
bark
7,
for 15 minutes and
Yep.
then shut up.
and you no more barking after 10 o'clock at night, or it'll cost Daddy $10,000, or I'll be putting Devil's Island or something. I'm convinced that, I like dogs. Mm-hmm. I like cats.
Yep.
In fact, I love animals. But, in fact, I feed them. Squirrels and a chipmunk this morning.
Oh, really?
They're out of hibernation.
Okay.
There's some good news for you, Thelma. The chipmunks are out of their holes. She doesn't like them. I'm not. Now, so there's lots and lots of dog owners.
Yeah.
But you know what? Back in the old days, dogs used to be neighborhood dogs. They used to run wild, go from neighborhood to neighborhood. We had dogs in my yard, 8 or 10 of them from the neighbors. We
Yep.
knew every one of them by name.
You knew where
and-
they were.
Yeah. And there was no real problem with that. And the dogs were happy. How about a dog now? You get up in the morning, you take him for a 10-minute walk so that he can relieve himself, bring him in, give him a bowl of food, put some water down for him, and you don't see him again till 6:30 at night when his bladder is ready to explode. And then you take him outside, and it's cold out. Oh, quick, Grover, quick, come on, I gotta get back inside. Jack will be coming over in 10 minutes for our date, and blah, blah, blah. So the dog doesn't get any exercise, gets to go out twice to, and she, by the way, when she comes home from the date, she'll wake the dog up and drag him out and make him go again. Talk about a dog's life.
Yeah,
That stinks.
it does. And some people that have dogs shouldn't have dogs.
That's exactly
But
right.
they want dogs, so they have a right to have a dog. So, but they shouldn't have them to start with. Dogs take a lot of care.
They do.
They take a lot of care to do it right.
Yep. Now, I get neighbors that walk their dogs. One guy, he's gone 30, 35, 40 minutes. He walks from down by my house, uptown, around, and even a little jogging from time to time. And that's great for the dog. And he does it every day, rain or shine. But then, people that don't take care of their dogs,
Yeah.
boy. Well, in a decision, one justice called a death knell in the digital age, the state's highest court ruled Wednesday that an alleged pimp be ordered to unlock a cell phone seized from him so it can be searched by the police.
Okay.
Supreme Judicial Court Justice Barbara Lenk, though she concurred with the finding, remarked, "The court's decision today sounds a death knell for a constitutional protection against compelled self-incrimination in the digital age." She said the Fifth Amendment demands more than a fishing expedition. After today's decision, before any government may order an individual to provide it with encrypted access to a trove of potential incriminating and highly personal data on an electronic device, all that the government must demonstrate is the accused knows the device's passcode. Yet, she supported the finding. She voted with the rest of the court. Well, what's your feelings on this? Aren't we innocent until proven guilty?
Yep.
Doesn't this guy have to be proven guilty before he can, and can you force him to testify against himself by his words, which is,
No, you can't. That's why the Fifth Amendment is there.
yeah.
But today, guilty until, or innocent until proven guilty, that doesn't exist anymore.
Do you think
Not with a certain group of people.
Do you think that this has anything to do that, if you read further into this, a woman told police she'd met him through a dating app and he forced her to work as a prostitute in exchange for housing, that there's some white slavery involved here, and that is why they feel that in this case they must prove against this pimp that he was doing that. That this is an extraordinary event. I'm not it is an extraordinary event. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And it's a terrible, terrible thing what they do to these women. But by the same token, it seems to me we have gone from black and white into gray, and now we're into
absolutely.
fog here. I'm not sure that I agree with this. And I'm a law and order guy.
I kind of do and I kind of don't.
Yeah.
When you got something like a cell phone that by unlocking it you could prove innocent or guilt, then I think that should be used as a tool to do it. But
If a guy had a phone
yep.
and it would prove him innocent to unlock it, why wouldn't he? Because some of these guys aren't bright.
Yeah,
we see
that's
that
true,
every
yeah.
Friday
Oh,
and
yeah.
Saturday night.
God, yes. I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm betwixt and between on this one. And also, I think it's very safe to say that once this becomes routine, if you will, then it will be abused by lazy cops. Rather than work it to prove he's guilty, take a shortcut and demand that the phone be opened and all of that.
It's just there's another aspect to that one. Should they allow it to be like an accident, like auto accident, particularly if there's a fatality or serious injuries, be able to look at that person's cell phone to see if they were on texting while they were driving.
Good point. Yeah.
That's another aspect of it.
I'm sure the insurance companies would be very interested in seeing that too. So, hospitals.
I don't really have a problem with that
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that either.
because something has to be done with the distracted driving.
Well, okay. Now, Governor Baker is aggressively pushing the fact that we've got to pass a bill to fight marijuana impaired driving. Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Now, there's nothing wrong with that at all. However, there's no criteria for a test.
That's the problem.
I mean, we don't have a viable, reliable, accurate test. We don't.
We have tests, not for marijuana, but we have tests for alcohol that are not real viable either, but we use them.
We use them.
Now, I don't know. I'd be willing to bet that 40% of, that one where you watch that live PD?
Yeah.
They make them stand on 1 foot
Yep.
and hold that foot out like
Probably
that.
40% of the
40
people.
or 50% could
Sober
not do that.
people
No,
couldn't
you
do
can't
it.
do
Yeah.
that. But anybody over 60 has a trouble.
Of
Start
course.
losing your balance and stuff.
Yeah.
And right away, they're guilty because they can't do it. Well, I've actually seen one night the cop was going to demonstrate it.
And he couldn't.
He couldn't do it either.
Yeah.
He put his foot down. I said, "You can't even do it."
That's I'm not wild about that sobriety test at all.
No.
Walking the straight line, okay. Let's see if you can walk a straight line. And if you're really drunk, you can't do it.
You can't do it.
Can't do it. So that's okay. The eyes following.
I don't know what they're looking for.
I'm not
in
looking
that.
for. I'm not sure what they're looking for either.
But the funny one though is don't move your head.
Yeah.
They go.
Yeah.
Or one lady, she says, okay, she moved her whole body. He said, no, she's impaired because she can't follow the instructions in that case.
You're laughing at this. We're laughing at it, but it's
They'll put
pathetic.
it down on a white line and say, all right, take 9 steps, heel to toe, turn around and come 9 steps back. And the guy goes down, he goes 9, and he keeps right on going. He'd go right down the street. He doesn't even know where he's supposed to turn around.
It's beautiful. But you know what? The ACLU calls testing plan faulty. Well, let me tell you something. It is faulty if you cannot prove in the 99th percentile that it's accurate.
Yeah.
And I don't want stone drivers out there.
I don't know. I don't want stone drivers. I don't want drunk drivers.
And by the way, here's another thing that gets me too. Experienced police officers can tell when someone is stoned. Give me
Baloney.
a break.
Baloney.
I'm sorry. I don't. Police officials argued that blood, saliva, and urine tests would be among a litany of assessments to build a case of impairment against a driver, including the officer's observation of the driver's traffic violations, behavior, appearance, and performance on field sobriety tests. If the training is sufficient and accurate and done the way that it's supposed to be done, then police will only pressure impaired drivers to take a test. Generally, they're not pulling people over unless they think they have a reason to. I wish I believed that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think some of the pullovers are recreational.
Yep.
And
Just watch that live PD. Sometimes what they pull them over for.
I know. Oh, your brake light is out, or your license plate light is out.
That's a big one. That license plate light out.
Yeah, that's a real safety hazard too.
Invariably, they got a light out. They make them get out of the car. They start searching their car. They do all this stuff. It goes crazy in some parts. Some parts of the country, you notice, are much tougher or much worse than others.
Yeah.
But I do notice that nobody in South Carolina has a driver's license, or very few.
No.
And they don't do anything about it.
I know it. They give them a ticket.
Or don't even say, well, that's all right.
Yeah.
When you get around to it.
Have you ever had one?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. And then they just drop it.
Yeah. By the way, Pasco County is no longer.
I saw that. They got dropped, yeah.
And Nye County.
Yeah.
Out in Arizona. Nye County,
Nevada.
That's another world.
Oh, my God. Does anybody not live in a trailer, a shack, or a camper?
Yeah, and that you can't see in one side and out the other?
Yeah. It's the Nye County is the most ungodly looking place you've ever seen in your life.
Unbelievable.
Everybody's got a pile of junk around the house.
That's right, yeah.
I don't know what they do with it.
Age it, I think.
I think so.
And then steal more.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, listen, you know what, Governor Baker? There are times when I'm on your side, and then there's times when you drive me a little bit nutty. But this is one where I think you're off the reservation, pushing for a bill to enable people to be tested for a test that doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's. I think there will be one at some point.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of.
Would have been a good idea maybe to hold off legalizing this stuff until we had a test to prove.
Probably.
Yeah, whether
but
it's
you see,
being
they
abused.
couldn't. The way the federal law reads, or still reads, when a drug gets listed as a controlled substance, you're not allowed to do any research with it at all, regardless if it could be the cure to cancer. Labs are not even allowed to touch it. No, they can't do it by law. They couldn't even touch it. So there's nothing been done for years and years and years with this.
Okay. I didn't know that.
It like puts them in limbo. And here I got just a quick update. I mean, we were talking about the nuclear power plant and Pilgrim. When Pilgrim Nuclear Plant closes, more than 10 million rooftop solar panels will be needed to replace that power alone. 10 million panels.
Yeah. Is there 10 million roofs in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
And that's just assuming that the power on sunny days could be stored.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's a hell of a lot more than 10 million panels
and
that you're going
also,
to have to replace it.
they're talking too that, well, we're going to develop batteries. Oh, yeah.
That's the Achilles heel in this whole thing
that's right.
with that type of power. The battery technology is so far behind what it should be.
Maybe it's just you can't do it.
That's right. Maybe some scientists said maybe this is something that we can't do. Something we don't understand the physics yet.
This is the end of the wall here. It ain't going to happen.
Five, Bill.
Okay. Hospitals expand to ease emergency room crowding. That's an interesting headline, isn't it, huh? I thought Obamacare was going to end people going to emergency rooms.
Right.
Yeah. You know, the more you learn about Obamacare, the more you realize what a pack of lies that whole mess was. And that guy from Massachusetts admitted it. Mm-hmm. That if we ever told the truth about it, it never would have passed. And the people were too stupid to understand what's in it, so we'll just pass it.
Yep.
But I remember well, the emergency rooms, we've got to allow for clinics and blah, 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 blah. Okay, what happened?
It didn't work.
It didn't work. And sometimes I think we have to be honest in our support of the police. And I support police 100%.
I do too.
But you know what? There's bad policemen.
Oh, without a doubt.
And it's becoming more and more apparent that maybe there's a few more than any of us would like. But here we have an ex-T cop and 2 sergeants indicted in the beating of a homeless guy.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. Dorston Bartlett, 65, was charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon and violating the man's civil rights. And then 2 sergeants, David Finnerty, 43, and Kenneth Orcell, 55, were charged with making a false report covering this.
Cover it up. But
you know what? The beating is one thing.
Yeah.
But the covering up and the lying. Police officers are placed on a higher plane.
Yeah.
They have a tremendous job to do.
Yes, they do.
And we place implicit trust in them. And when they violate it with this kind of crap, I think the lying is just as bad as the beating.
Yep. They're still subject. When you select a police officer, you're still taking them out of the pool of the population. If you got so much percentage of bad apples, well, you're probably going to get. You try to filter them out, but there's still going to be the guy that's got the razor trigger edge to him,
chip on his
that
shoulder,
got through somehow. You're always going to have that. You watch it. We go back to that live PD. It's amazing though. Sometimes these guys take the guff that they do.
And they don't swing.
They don't react to them. I thought, good God, if that was me, I'd have beaten the hell out of that
You know what? I
bum.
think that the Live PD does a service for the country in some instances because I think the guys might have swung at them.
Oh yeah, I think so too. When they know they're being filmed.
Well, we're down to 2 minutes, and look what I have for the final deal. Ayanna Pressley,
16-year-old
representative,
God, that was,
is proposing
are we stupid electing somebody like that?
Allow 16-year-olds to vote.
Yep. Oh, did you see the next day in the Globe? Letter after letter after letter supporting this. Oh yeah, 16s are so good. They're so mature. They can do this and that.
Oh,
well, the counter to that is if they're so damn mature, lower the drinking age to 16. Hell, lower it to 14, because some said already at 14 they're mature today. All right, lower it to 14. Let them get a job as an airline pilot at 16.
That's what I was going to say.
Would you get on the plane with them?
Let them become,
no, you wouldn't.
Let them become doctors.
Yeah, let them be doctors.
Sure. I mean, this is absolutely absurd.
She's a She is so damn dumb.
But yet, Ocasio, jumped
great
right to
idea.
it. Oh,
Yep.
great idea, And they pointed out to the school where they had the tremendous shooting down there in,
Which one?
Sandy
Sandy Hook.
Sandy
that was
Hook,
in Connecticut.
Yeah. And her argument was there's kids at Sandy Hook that would make good voters.
Oh, she was talking about the high school. I know who that was too.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We all know who it was. But she's so illogical. You know, that thing my grandmother used to say comes to truer and truer. She used to say, be careful what you wish for, you might get it.
Yes.
Today, be careful who you vote for. You might get them elected. And this is a classic case.
Man, it is. I mean,
How?
this is a major league embarrassment for Mass. You think that some of the clowns who have sent down there before haven't embarrassed us?
She's
And
just
she's
an
actually
nincompoop.
doing worse.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, friends, as sad as it may be to think we've run out of time again and we got so many more things to handle.
If we could sing, we'd sing Happy Trails. Like we used to be at the end of Roy Rogers, was that?
And Dale Evans.
Dale Evans,
Happy trails to you.
I said if we can sing.
Yeah, if we can sing, yeah. And as they go to sponge trigger off or whatever they do after the show. So look, folks, yesterday was the first day of spring, so I want to wish you a very, very happy springtime. As I told you, I saw a chipmunk this morning, so they're out of hibernation. It'll be great to have those wonderful little critters running around scaring my squirrels.
I saw a robin a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I've had robins all over
But
the
I think
place.
he died because of quit getting anything to eat, so now he's laying feet up someplace. I'm sorry, kids.
Don't they go to Burger King when they get hungry?
They do, yep.
Yeah. Well, listen, folks.
Get a worm burger.
Thank you for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to know that you're out there absorbing all the swell stuff that we ladle out.
Put up with our rantings.
Yeah. You're a great safety valve for us both. So thanks again. Good night, good afternoon, or whatever, and we'll see you next time.
Be safe.